Okay, so you can see here I've got the base put together. Like I showed you before, I used mortise and tenon joints on everything except that bottom stringer. And I used 4-inch, actually big structural screws. I'm going to fill those holes with a 3/4 inch dowel. And so I drilled a 3/4 inch hole about half to 3/4 inch deep. Then I drilled my hole through, and then I used 2 screws to tie that stringer in. Then I'll fill that hole with a 3/4 inch dowel. So I'm in the process right now working on the top. So I took 8-foot 2x6s and I ran them through the planer, and I jointed both edges. And so I've got a thickness that's the same for all the boards, and I took a little bit of the edge off so that they butt up better and I don't have any gaps. I already laid them out dry and pulled them together with clamps. Looks pretty good. So now I'm in the process of putting dominoes in, so I'm gonna run one of those for you so you see that, and then we'll go from there. Setup's really nice. So I've done 6 domino cuts. I'll turn around and do the other side. I've got my domino cutter hooked up to a back that comes on automatically when I start the cutter or start the tool, and so it works really good, and we'll go ahead and do the rest of them. Okay, this is the process that I've been using. I'm going to do the last one here to show you. I've been putting these down individually, clamping them somewhat together, and then I bring up my next piece, which in this case is going to be the last piece. Laying out my biscuits so they're ready for me. 6 of them on each board, and then I start putting on the glue. I use these brushes to get it spread out nice and even. I like to get a really good coverage on these, and then each biscuit, or I'm sorry, each domino, as I get past them, put them in, then I cover the other side so that when I made it to the piece next to it, it's all ready to go. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible because the glue sets relatively quick, and I want to be able to tighten this up real well, and so got to get a little more glue here. Go up to the end of this bottle. Okay, I got enough here to finish. And again, I'm just spreading it on pretty liberally, but with these brushes, these silicone brushes, I really like these because they do a nice job of spreading the glue out. When you get done, you just take them in and wash them out, and they're good to go again. I've had these for a long time and I've used them a lot. And I've had a couple that started to wear out, smaller ones. I don't use these big ones all the time, but I am today since I'm doing this 1.5-inch stuff. And but they work really nice. They clean up nice. And if you do forget and they dry, you can come in and it'll just peel right out of there, to the point where you can clean them up and they're still good to go, so you don't ruin the brush. Like I said, they're just, I've been using them for quite a while now. I really like them. And like I said, I get the domino set in there, and then I coat that side all the way around, put it in place, take a little more glue, go around the exposed portion of the domino, and getting right down near the end here. I'm going to have just enough, I believe. And get them all in place. I've got all the dominoes. I did these 4 inches from each end, and then I spaced them in between so they're about 17.5 inches apart. I'm going to do a breadboard end on this also, so there'll be one more setup kind of like this that goes in. Just make sure I got all these in place. And so then I just take it, start one. So now we're going to put all our clamps in place. So I want one, I just do one to begin with, just to kind of hold it on the one end. And I work my way down, pull this together. Sometimes you gotta line it up a little bit. And yes, I have a hammer for that, but no, I forget to use it. And so I'll go ahead now. Now I've got everything pulled up. I'll really start to tighten things up, and I'll add 2 or 3 more clamps into this. Take those final gaps out. Those are too small. Glue out of the way before I make a bigger mess. Couple more clamps. Okay, we get one more clamp. Should have pads on all these, but I don't. For this application, I'm not too worried about it. If I was doing a really fine finish table, I'd probably make more sure, but I can clean these edges up. I'm going to be routing anyway. And we'll clean them up. Make sure these are nice and tight all the way down to the end. And that's coming out pretty nice. I'll take a belt sander to this. to finish it up. I've got some voids that I wasn't really expecting to find. You know, this is just construction grade 2x6s, which, you know, it's a farm table. But we want it nice and smooth. So I got a few dips in that. I'll fill them with some wood filler, and I'll take the belt sander, sand it down good, and then we'll finish it. Like I said, I'm going to do a breadboard in, so when this gets all set, I'll take my track saw, so I get a real nice edge here. Just take probably 1/8 of an inch off of it, and then I'll make my breadboard pieces. See you next time. Okay, so we're back. You can see we got it all glued up. We've got the clamps removed, and so now it's time to cut the end to put our breadboard end on. And so I'm just I took my drywall square, put a square across this end and the other end. I'll cut these with the track saw, and then we'll come back and do our dominoes to do the breadboard in. So I cut the end pieces for the breadboard, and I've done, there's 6 pieces in the body of the table, and so I've done a domino for each one in the center of them. These I've done on the breadboard end. I've done them solid, okay? They're just like you'd always do, no gap. And then on the table itself, why the 2 center holes are that same way, they're solid. The 4 outer holes are done larger. They're done about half again as big, or a third again as big. You can see there's some movement in there. So now, when I go to put this on, I will glue this center section, and I'll probably go a couple inches either side. And I will also glue these into place in the breadboard end. But I won't put any glue on this exposed part, and I won't put any glue from here over and here over. So when you put this on, like so, why this section here will be glued outside, except for in this hold these in place in the breadboard end. But in each one of these, they'll be able to float. The reason is that this field of the body of the tabletop will expand and contract somewhat this way. Boards don't expand with the grain, they expand across the grain. And so we've got the grain going this way on the breadboard end, the grain going this way, and there can be some expansion and contraction. And so by doing it that way, if there is expansion or contraction in this body of the table, why that will take up that slack, and everything will stay as it's. It won't push anything apart or pull anything. So there's different ways to do that. I've done this one a couple times and it's worked, and so it's pretty simple. And the other thing, I'm a sucker for buying the latest gadget that comes out. Those guys that design all that stuff, they're looking for guys like me. But I bought 2 pair of these clamps a few years ago that fit on a 2x4. So you can take any length 2x4, make a clamp out of it. I don't have any clamps long enough for this table, so by taking a 2x4 and putting these on here, I can make a clamp to hold this in place when I glue it. So next step is to glue it up, and then we'll start working on cleaning up the top for finishing. So here's the finished tabletop. I used just one coat of a custom mix stain that I got from Sherwin-Williams, and I took a piece off of one of the other tables I was trying to match up to, and I took it in, and a piece of wood, this SPF 2x6 that I made the top out of, and they were able to mix a custom stain that matches up to the color really good. I'll show you here in a second. Then I finished it with about 5 coats of a general polyurethane. It's an oil-based product, and let me get those. I'll show you what I used. So this is what I was matching up to right here, and you can see it came out really close. The stain is Sherwood. It's a wiping stain, and I used one of those terry cloth covered brush, or not brushes, but sponges I like to use. Let me see if I can get this up here. Yeah, there you go. They do a really nice job. This is about the 3rd time I've had them do a custom mix like this. It works really well. And then I came back with General Finishes Armor Seal in a gloss, and I put on, like I said, basically 5 coats. I sprayed 2. I sprayed 1, let it dry till it was dry to the touch. I put on another coat, let it dry till it was dry, sanded it, then I put on 3 more coats with a real light sanding in between. So this stuff worked really well. Oil base, I sprayed it. Sherwin-Williams recommended that you do not brush over that stain, and that you spray it. So I sprayed it through my Fuji sprayer, and I just sprayed it straight. I didn't thin it at all with a 1.3 tip, and it worked really well. So that's the top. Base is painted white. Got to do a little touch up on it, and table's ready to go. So here's the finished product. I haven't attached the top yet. I'll attach it when I get it to the wedding venue using those clips that I showed earlier, but there it is. So kind of neat. Came out pretty good. Thanks again for watching.